So what's up, everybody? I'm going to interview Karen Lazer. She is one of the biggest booking agents around. She works with Sullivan Biggs and uh, talks to Alex Grossi from Quiet Riot. They kind of work together. Let's give her a call. Let's see.
This is Karen.
Hey, Karen, it's Chris.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Are you good to talk?
Yeah, I just had a moment because I'll just be honest with you. It was yesterday was the anniversary of my dad passing, and I worked and worked, and I wasn't feeling good. But I worked all day today, and I just like, you know what? And that's why I said tonight because I really wanted to do something to distract my mind. So this is good. Yes.
Oh,
And I was just telling my friend, she goes, "You didn't say anything at all." And I go, "No." She goes, "I knew something was up with you, Karen." She goes, "You were very quiet." And I said, "Yeah, might as well just put it out there now."
yeah,
You know.
that's tough. Um, my mom passed young, so she's been gone for a while. But my dad's still alive. He's like 85, but he's
Wow.
he's doing all right. But you know,
Wow.
it's you know the way I think of that is we we on Earth we lose somebody we love, but then you have to think with everybody that they love that passed, they get to be
Yeah,
they get to be
be with
with
them.
again.
They do. And I
So
think that's kind of why I was good with everything because I thought, well, and this is a almost kind of bizarre story, but I guess it was kind of the beginning of COVID. We were all learning. Um, Both my uncles, my mom's brother and her brother-in-law, my mom's sister lost her husband, which is my mom and their brother, and my dad. All three died within 10 days. One died on the other uncle's funeral day.
wow.
All three of them died within 10 days. So I went through when they said happens in threes. It did. But what was ironic because today I was thinking, after I talked to you and I was dealing with booking some other bands, and it stormed so bad. And after it stormed, I thought, Dad, I don't want you to think I forgot about you yesterday and that I didn't honor you, didn't think of you because I'm still thinking of you. My heart's still heavy. And I thought of it, and all of a sudden, a cardinal come chirping out the back at the same exact time. And I'm
That's
like, that
awesome.
was him. That just happened tonight, just a little bit ago. So I'm like, well, that's a blessing inside. And it was funny because my dad, and I was just joking off with one of my friends, Deb, who also works with my agency part-time. My dad would always come say, he'd say, I'm coming to see you work. I'd laugh. I said, come visit me. He goes, no, I'm coming to see you work. I go, Dad, I don't. I'm going to try to take some time off. He goes, and it was funny because one time I sat there, I said, Dad, why do you always say that you're coming to see me work? He goes, that's what I like about you. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I like to see you work. I go, why do you want to see me work? He goes, because I know you're living.
That's awesome. That's
And he goes,
awesome.
and you're making a difference where others aren't. I
Yeah,
go, okay.
that's so
And
true.
so in my post I just made on Facebook, I know you're never coming to see me work again. And, it's just one of those moments. My dad would always say, I'm not coming to visit you. I'm coming to see you work. And now there was one time, we were watching. I normally don't watch much TV because I don't have time. But one night when he was here, when he came to visit, we put on a movie that he really wanted to watch, and I'm watching it with him. And he looked over at me and goes, well, what are you doing over there? And I said, I'm watching the movie. Why? He says, well, don't you have some work to do while you're watching the movie? And I go,
Oh my God.
you don't want me to watch the movie? And he goes, well, how are you going to get everything done that you got to get done if you don't get it done now while you're watching the movie? And I go, you want me to get my laptop and work on some stuff? He goes, well, you can make some stuff happen, make it happen. He goes, keep living, young lady, keep living. I'm like,
That's so funny.
okay. He goes, I know you multitask. He goes, I know you know what's going on in the movies. He goes, I've watched you. I'm like, okay. And he goes, just do what you love to do. And I go, is that okay? He goes, Karen, if I wasn't here, what would you be doing?
Working.
I go, yeah. And he goes, don't stop living.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah.
And so I didn't want to say anything yesterday because I thought I could hear my dad saying, don't, because you're going to cry and you've got a job to do and you've been sick all week with sinus infection. The last thing you need to do is get that flared up.
Oh
I
my
could just
God.
hear him saying it. I could hear him saying that.
I've had that too. I was sick over the
Yeah.
weekend and stuff. So
Same here this weekend. I don't know. I didn't know where.
yeah, same here.
And I'm not blowing my nose because of that. Or for my dad, I'm blowing because I'm sick too. For some
Yeah.
allergies or something. I don't know what it is, but
The same thing happened to me. and my son too.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Really?
crazy.
Out of nowhere this weekend?
Yep, out of
That's
nowhere.
crazy.
Because I did the CT scans and everything.
Yep.
Was telling you earlier, and everything went fine and stuff. And then like I started to feel a little better and a little better. I got really sick from the iodine. I had like an
Yeah, okay, so this is crazy. When I had my surgery, and of course, when they're sedating you in the iodine, I
yeah.
had an allergic reaction to iodine. Seriously, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. What did you feel like?
I will tell you, I had a burning sensation through my whole body. I felt like my body was on fire. I started getting welts all over my skin. I couldn't hardly breathe. My throat, and matter of fact, it did cause some problems when I was having my surgery. And they had troubles with the tube going down in my throat. And they even said they had to get a child-sized tube to put in me. And they realized I was having problems with the iodine, an allergic reaction, and they had to flush something out. I remember them saying they had to flush something in the IVs. They had to do something else. And that's why I felt it when I was awake during surgery. I could feel because they couldn't give me the everything that I was supposed to have.
That
And I
what
told them exactly what I heard during surgery. And the doctor goes, "You were alert, weren't you?" And I go, "Yes." I felt every bit of pain. I was so much in pain.
what did you feel like after? Like after I was like really tired. I felt sick.
Tired, sick, nauseous, sick. I threw
Oh,
up.
see, I must have had a reaction to it too. I
I
thought
was throwing up so bad, and I ended up with yellow bile. It was terrible.
that's the same thing that happened to me. I didn't know what it was because I've never been allergic to it, and it felt like they gave me a lot. Like when
Yeah.
for the scan, and after
Uh-huh.
it, I didn't feel good at
Would
all.
you, right?
Nauseous.
Did nauseous? Did you feel like your body was burning? Your skin was burning
Yeah,
out, like the
and I
insides were
felt
burning?
sick, like almost like I was dying, kind of feeling.
Yes, it was bad.
Yeah. Wow.
Iodine did that to me. Yeah.
Yeah, so I must have had a reaction too, because I don't, I've tried to read and people really don't talk about it, so, but
No, it
that's
does
good.
happen.
Yeah,
Hey,
so,
I didn't mean to get off track with everything. I'm sorry
no,
that
it's all
happened
right,
to you.
but
Oh,
no, it's good to hear, like, stuff like that, because we're all human, and it's a, you know, like, you have a lot of the same mutual friends. I can't, like Terry and
yeah.
those people. They're all friends of mine and stuff. And you've been booking a lot of bands. I saw you with Nico McBrain recently, and I saw some pictures like Tommy Two Tone and like you
Yeah.
and Stet was there up in there with who's that guitar player?
I've had with George
Gary.
Lynch and everything.
Yeah, and Gary
George
Hoey.
Gary Hoey. Yep, Gary Hoey. Yeah.
Yeah. So because a lot of people listen to what I say, and I talk about the industry a lot, but they don't hear the booking side of everything, and like,
The bad, hard, difficult stuff sometimes.
yeah, like the load-ins and people showing up
Right.
late and all like it's over.
Yeah,
It's got to be overwhelming for you.
it is. Sometimes, I'm working the doors of the shows. I'm traveling. Sometimes I'm running on 1, 2 hours of sleep, and I've got maybe 4 or 5 shows going on. And sometimes, there people are saying, "Hey, I need your help," or "Can you do this? Can you do that?" Or, "Hey, I can't make my flyers. Can you make it for me?" So I'm spending my own time, and a lot of times I don't even charge to do them like I should be. The extra fees to do stuff. A lot of times I just do it because it's about building relationships.
Yeah, because see, like a lot of people think that I live. Like I'm not gonna complain about my life. I made a lot of money doing it, but and
Mhm.
it's fun to a point. But like they don't see the hard work that goes
We don't see
into.
the hard work going through the stage plots, finding the equipment, the right equipment. If the stage sizes aren't going to work right, where we're going to put everything. When you have two bands playing, is there enough setup space for the other bands, for the opening bands, things like that? Are they sharing back lines? There's so much. Who's running sound and what kind of soundboard? How many inputs does it have? Those kind of things that we have to deal with.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand the contract side of all that
No,
too.
and the contracts either. No. So yeah, what would you like to talk about? Go ahead. This is your gig.
Well, like talk about like the contracts, like when you get like some of the big names come in there and they got to do the sound checks with the load in sheets and all that, and like what kind of problems arise that you have to tackle, on the hard side of it that people don't normally think about, like because a lot of the guys that are probably on my channel, there's about 3,000, but they don't understand like,
Are we doing this live right now? Where are you
yeah, yeah,
recording this?
yeah,
Oh, you're recording this. I
yeah.
didn't even know you're recording me. I'm sorry. Oh
No,
my
it's
gosh.
okay. It's okay.
Oh wow. This is this live?
No, no, it's not live.
Oh, Lord help me. Oh my goodness. Well, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm not a comedian either, by the way. Sorry. But no, I feel like when I'm my own comedy act. Can you tell? I even have dry humor. Go figure.
Well, like even like on the like, cause you work with Alex from Quiet Riot a lot, who works for Sullivan Biggs, and we both know him, and
Yeah.
you talk to him probably more than I do, but they like how like
Working with them, and they're Alex is a great person, by the way, and he also does bookings and stuff like that too. But like for example, this week Thursday, I have Plush coming in to the Barn in Sanford. It's a female rock band, and of course, we have certain things that we have to adhere to. We work with their tour managers, and when the contracts come in, we're looking at not just the contract, you're looking at the hospitality writers, the equipment writers, things like that. Loading could be a nightmare sometimes, especially if there's more than one band. And like for this show, I have four bands, three opening bands, one direct support, obviously. So in just scheduling it properly, the time frame and making sure sound checks go well. What if the equipment, something's wrong with the equipment or a cable doesn't work or anything like that? Of course I'm, got to get with my lighting guys in addition to that, and having the right sound guys that knows, kind of the bands or the gender that they're working with too. Not all sound guys work well with every band either. You got to take that into consideration. Who's going to gel with them, and also how well do they know the room, the venues, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of factors that go into things like this. Doing the contracts, run back and forth, and not only that, the deposits that have to go into it, how are the ticket sales going to be, what time of year is it going to be, and, what's the temperature, right now with the world as it is, with the economics, everything has to be factored in. And sometimes things happen when you least expect it, and the economy can tank, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh shoot, I've got all this money wrapped up in these shows, and what's going to happen. So you always have the fear of the unknown. That's number one, the fear of the unknown. But having the contracts, and then making sure that adhering to what their needs are, their requirements. Sometimes they're crazy requirements, but sometimes they make great sense requirements.
Yeah, and it like even like this Legends thing that you're working on with me. I have a lot of people that are involved, and I just talked trying to get Matt Kramer from Saigon Kick to work with maybe Terry. Kind of like how they were doing the George Lynch thing.
Right,
With
right.
the three singers, and I was thinking about maybe getting Jim from the Sabbath Nights with Terry,
Right.
and then
And
having me,
And
Robert Sarzo.
Yeah, Robert. Yes, and
Yeah.
matter of fact, we were working on a venue for a gig coming up October 18th. We were trying to pull that off, make that happen, but we're having to push that back for one of his tribute bands that Robert's in for into next year. So that's the other thing is, and again, when you're talking about things like this, planning, it's not even just that. It's when you're setting up tours if there's more than one date and making sure that the airlines are operating properly and worrying about if they're going to get there on time, if there's going to be delays or cancellations in flights. All these things get factored in, and it causes stress. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
So, and I'm looking forward to that with you, by the way. I'm really looking forward to making some stuff happen and going into 2026 with everybody. You guys are...
I think I also been talking to Craig Goldie from Dio has been on my channel, and he said a lot of great things. I didn't know he was watching the channel or how, but I reached out to him, and I would like to get him on the Legends tour as well.
Right.
I'll guitar tech at that point.
There you go. Way to go. Way to rock and roll in this industry.
Because
I'm going to say one thing to all the musicians out there. God bless each and every one of you, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, but I believe in the power of music brings anyone and everyone together. Even, when I say that, even if people don't like that type of music, they're going to voice it. So one way or another, you're going to hear a hey or a nay about it. So it still causes communication.
Yeah. I'll tell you something I'm working on that I haven't told everybody, so I might as well tell it while we're recording.
Yeah.
I've got a hold of ACD's management company, and I
Right.
redid Hell's Bells in a country version, and I also have a
Wow.
famous anime guy and the AI guy, and I'm trying to get them to do. Um, we're gonna. I have an original of the country version, and I want it anime, but I want to bring back Bon Scott and Malcolm Young,
Yeah.
but I want to have them like Japanese AI at the bar, and
Oh wow.
as they turn around like an old saloon kind of style, drinking at the bar, and the doors open,
What?
and then we start playing the country version of Hell's Bells, and they all turn around, and as they're turning around, everything turns into AI, and then Bon Scott and Malcolm Young, and they all turn young again, and they're all together with Brian Johnson, like all of them.
I love that. Hey, you're making them all younger. Yeah, can you make me younger too while
Yeah,
you're
me
at it?
too.
Please? Could you work on that for me really
Yeah,
easy? It's
we
easy
could
peasy.
we could put you in the video.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
No hell's bells to that one.
But I thought it was an awesome idea, and I'm working with them. So
Nice. I
that's
think that's great.
yeah. You know
Kudos
what?
to you.
I try to remain as private as possible, and you know how like some of us are. Like Terry's very like if you don't like a lot of people don't understand like these guys like like a George Lynch or a Terry or even some of the guys
Right.
like Nico. Nico's a different kind of guy. He's very
Nico is
yeah.
amazing in a way that is eccentric, kind of. Okay, he's he's private, but he's not private.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he's very outgoing and he's very friendly,
Yeah,
but he's
yeah.
private. Yeah, he's a character, but like a lot of people, they don't let you inside their circle unless you are like they can trust you.
Right. I like working with Nico and his wife Rebecca and I'll tell you, the bandmates that he has with his team. Of course, they're in other bands. So they worked with Joey Belladonna and all that, but like Jim McCourt and all those guys. I mean,
Yeah,
those guys are amazing to work with, and they really bring Nico to a different place. I think,
yeah, yeah.
honestly.
Rebecca is so awesome. It's
Yeah,
Nika's wife.
I like her. I really like her. I love her style, her charisma.
Yeah,
I like it. She reminds me in a way, and don't take this in the wrong way, take this in a positive light. She kind of reminds me of a Sharon Osbourne taking care of her man, no matter
yeah,
what.
yeah,
She
exactly.
is just like that in a way that I respect, in a respectful way.
She's the adult and Nico's the kid.
Yes, yes, yes. I want some baby back ribs right now. I want to go to rockin' ribs right there in Boca. Yes.
Yeah. So like a lot like
Incredible flight.
and like do you like as far as like people that come to the shows and stuff, I know some people get a little carried away because they want to meet their idols and stuff.
Mhm.
What would you offer for advice for a lot of people that come to the shows and want to actually meet them, like how they should play it?
That's a great question. And I will tell you the way that I would recommend doing it is in a respectful way and say, that person's really my idol and I follow them. I mean, and, if they are selling a VIP meet and greet, purchase that VIP meet and greet. Be respectful of other people in your time with that artist as well, because keep in mind, they do this many times in a week, sometimes depends on when they're on tour and that, but let's use Nico. We just had him here recently as an example, and they did the VIP meet and greet. We did it upstairs, and we had people that were trying to get through, and I had my pit bull sitting there at the entrance. She's there, and God bless Gina. I love her because if I give her a command, she follows that command to the T. Let me tell you something. And she's like, nope. My boss lady says, nope. You can't go in there. You got to. It's funny because she'll say, you got the right wristband? Nope, you don't have the right wristband. Matter of fact, we have it on on video because I share this with Nico. When I'm doing a show, and I'm always changing things up, but for his show, I'll use an example. We had the right wristbands for the VIP meet and greet. We had the VIP standing area and every wristband. And we also had I had names on different wristbands for certain people as well. And Nico called somebody out that was trying to sneak into an area, and he says, if you don't have your name on that wristband, he goes, Karen Lazer right here is going to find you and move you. So he knows that I run a tight ship when it comes to stuff like that. But the thing is there's ways to earn your way to the meet and greets. Do it respectfully, number one, and follow my social media pages, because sometimes I'll give away something or I'll do something special for somebody. Sometimes, the artist will say, no, we only want 10 meet and greets. And sometimes I'll negotiate with them to maybe get an extra 5 or more, So when they're wanting to meet them, and let's say if it's something they're asking to have one item of their merchandise to be signed, don't come with a handful of stuff, because chances are you're going to upset that artist.
Yeah, because I mean, last time that George was here, he we won't get into the private conversation we said.
Yeah.
We talked, but he was very upset, and I know he was having problems at some of the meet and greets. So it's and like you said, it's hard on some of these guys because they do it a lot.
Yeah. And what people don't realize is a lot of times they have sound checks prior to going on and performing. And sometimes those sound checks aren't going the way they want them. So they're already frustrated, or something happened, or they've had to replace a string. Or let's just say it's a guitar, and replace a string, whatever, or a drum head or whatever right away. Just things happen sometimes. Or maybe that getting there in travel to the venue to perform, maybe they were delayed. So you never know what the environment is going on around them that they've experienced prior to you coming to a meet and greet. And trust me, stuff happens, and we see it happen. And or they'll get that phone call from their agent, and something may have not gone well with another show upcoming, and then they've got that on their mind. So I would say just be respectful of that time, and if you're getting your picture done meet and greet, just do it and make it move smoothly, because the more often that you do that, the more often they're going to want to do the meet and greets.
Yeah. Because even when we did those shows with Vinny and Peace and we were on the West Coast, they had some sound problems, and Vinny took a long time where we were pushing our sound check right to the edge for us. But at the same time, Toad was there, and I said to him, I said, just use Vinny and Peace's. I said, you Mike, our drummer, but just use his sound, whatever you got, saved.
Right.
Just do it the same way to save some time. But even as an opening band or something, I always go back to them because Jim's a super nice guy, and some of the guys, and I'll ask him, hey, is there anything you need? I know you're busy. You need me to get you water? What do you need?
Mm-hmm.
I'll help out whoever it is, just to so they have so it's more fun to work with a band that actually is trying to help you. So.
Right. And I was sure this, speaking of the meet and greets, I have this, and I will say this, it's a friend, and we're friends. This person that comes to supports a lot of my shows, mostly. It supports a lot of shows, even though I've seen other places. But this person was actually at the Nico show, and another one of our fan friends that was there, a fan of, actually it was George Lynch and Nico shows, so he was at both. But he was a big fan of Nico's as well. And him and his wife were there. And at that time, this other friend of mine who comes to support our shows had a VIP meet and greet. And he says, oh, man, I really wanted one. Well, come to find out, there was 3 left to purchase for meet and greet, because we got 10 more added on for the show for Nico that night at the day of the show. So we had a long list, by the way. But that gentleman went and purchased in advance those 2 meet and greet tickets for him. So, and then the guy paid him back, later on, but he didn't have the money right there. But so it's just coming together in our music community. Here's somebody doing something so gracious and nice, so that this other person had the opportunity for the meet and greet. And at that time, we were up there, and I realized that I didn't even have any of my own stuff to be signed with me, that as a promoter and booking them. And I'm like, and they're like, well, why don't you get your own stuff signed, Karen? And I'm like, I don't even think about that sometimes, because I'm so busy worrying about everybody else. So I have these, which are really great friends that are musicians as well, and I could name the names, but even the band Spread Eagle, who will be here in October again, and they come, we book them. I book them often in Florida once or twice a year. Even one time Rob he says, well, you do all this for everybody else. You're rocking for autism awareness, and you're getting everybody else's stuff signed. Well, what about your stuff? What do you have? And Rob gave me something, and that was the light, and then also Jimmy Bell and them from the band Autograph, and Jimmy Bell's like, well, you got to have something here. And so it was kind of like that moment that it kind of triggered. And I'm like, wait a minute, here's all this time I've been doing for years and didn't even have one of my own things signed. Can you believe that? How funny is that?
Yeah.
And I'm at all the meet and greets.
When Spread Eagle plays, let me know. I'll come up there because I grew up.
Yeah,
I grew up with Ray.
Them. Oh, I love them. I have them October, let's see, 16th at Stutz Bar in Fort Myers.
Are you going to go to Stutz?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be there. And then the 18th, we have them at La La Land in Lakeland. And on the 19th, I have Spread Eagle, along with Enough's Enough, Trickster, Permacrush, Pretty Boy Floyd, and I think there was one other one. We're going to have them in Fort Walton together.
Nice. I've been talking to Stevie Rochelle from Tough too. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but it's funny. Some of the guys are just guys. Like Ray, I grew up with Ray.
Love Ray.
Ray, yeah. So he was in a local band called Defiance, and then when he left for Spread Eagle, Oni Logan from Lynch Mob sang for Defiance, and then he got the gig with George. Which was
crazy small world.
Yeah, and then after Oni left, I know Ray was just singing with George maybe a year ago, and something happened, and then Ray ended up doing like full tours with Spread Eagle again. So
yeah, well, they're over in the UK right now, but that'll be October 19th at Fort Walton Beach. That's what it'll be. So that's gonna be a great show too.
It's funny. Me and Ray used to hang out at the Broward Mall when we were kids.
I love him. He's a trip. He calls me sis. He's one of those musicians, along with a few other ones, and I won't name all the names, but a lot of times they'll be like, "Hey sis, can I leave my car at your place? I got to fly out. I got to do a gig. And by the way, can you give me a ride to the airport too, if you don't mind?" Or hey, we're coming in. We're doing a tour. Can you pick us up? So I go with my truck to the airport, and I pick up all the musicians, and along with their luggage and their guitar cases and stuff, and done it with the band Autograph, and Steve Unger from Metal Church and stuff like that, and Jimmy Bell. Those guys were
Metal Church. I used to love.
Great, great people. I mean, there's so many great people I could just name off, but
Stet's a great guy too. I like Stet a lot.
That too, yes, he's amazing. And he's doing some more stuff with Gary Hoey this year. And Stet also plays with Steve Unger in another band it's an Elvis tribute band, a tribute to Elvis if he was alive in 1985. And of course, Steve Unger from Metal Church and the band Autograph also dresses up as Elvis. He's a honka burning love.
I didn't know that. Just a honka burning love. Oh, man.
Start every once in a while. We'll have that show at his venue, and I've had him in Orlando, and we've had him over at Piper's, and that's kind of a cool story too. We've got some great stories.
Some I can't tell.
Yeah, well, no, there's nothing bad. I can say that, and they call my home the Lazy Lazer Inn because everybody goes and gets lazy while I go to work, and they all stay in my guest rooms. And they all hang out in my gazebos. They're like, "Yeah, we're staying here. We're not leaving." I'm like, "Yeah." Well, Terry was one of them.
You get that nice. You get the nice pool.
I have a pool and a couple of gazebos. Yeah, but it's funny because even Steve Unger goes, "What the heck is the Taj Mahal here?" He goes, "You work this hard for all this?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's why I work 7 days a week, so you all can enjoy it before me."
Yeah, it's funny because I met you at I think it was with Terry.
Right.
The first time I met you, and I walked up, and he was like, "Hey," and I go, "You remember me?" And he was like, "Yeah." It was kind of weird, and then there was an issue that night where some guy was trying to get in the back.
Yes.
And I pulled the gate. I don't know if you know that was me that shut the gate.
Yes, I do. Thank you again. Thank you for doing that. Yeah. It's just those kind of moments, when things happen, and thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And there's safety reasons, too, because people don't understand back there. Sometimes there's stuff that's in the way of cables, and there's liability issues that people never even understand.
Yeah, and thank God Patrick from Ingve was there, and he walked over, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just stand there with me," because he's a big boy. Like
Yeah.
I'm a big guy, but people don't understand how big Patrick is.
Right.
You know,
But
it's
you
like
know, and here's a lot of things is, people want to come, sometimes get up on the stage and do things. And they don't realize the cost of the equipment on stage. And sometimes you can't even replace some of that equipment or their gear, and sometimes it's a keepsake item. It could be one of those guitars that was given to him by somebody significant in their life. And the last thing you want to do is damage it.
yeah, and some of those guys are doing fly dates, so they don't carry
Yeah.
extra everything, because
Right.
they're
Exactly.
yeah. So it's a crazy business, and it's great to see people like you still pushing the old rock stuff, today and having it still out there. Because I mean, realistically, if it weren't for like people like you and Alex and stuff booking these bands, we wouldn't have them in our area. So I thank you to you.
No, you're welcome. And, I wish I could do more. The hard part is the venues, and the budgets right now. That's been the hard, since COVID, everything's changed. We all know it's
Yeah,
changed. We'd be liars if we said it wasn't. But, businesses are still closing down. I see it all the time. Matter of fact, I've read about 2 of them closing again today and in different areas. And I'm like, it's really sad because it's gut wrenching that those businesses once been there over 30 years. And you're like, wow, this is really sad, to see somebody, the history that's been at places that it's going to be gone. It's going to be totally wiped out,
yeah,
and it's going to be totally revamped and it's not going to be there anymore. But part of, like I was saying, is budgets, and the cost of living's gone up, and the venues don't have it in their budgets for everything. By the time you pay for the lighting engineers, the sound engineers, your staff to staff the place businesses and stuff like that, and then you're paying for the artists and then their hospitality riders and stuff like that.
yeah.
Sometimes it can get out of hand, and then if you don't have the ticket sales to absorb those costs, you're like, wow, did I do the right thing here? But yet at the same time, if you don't keep doing it, not consistent, it's going to go way sooner than later.
Yeah, that's the other part. Bands are playing like the bigger bands are playing more in the clubs because they don't have to rent it. They just got to sell the tickets. Kind of like
Yes,
the
yeah,
old days, which is
it's
interesting.
starting to get that way. Yeah, and what I was going to say with regard to that is, being an agent, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people out there that think it's an easy job. It's not. I have to be licensed and bonded. I have to pay licensing fees. I've got to pay an accountant. I've got to pay taxes, the fingerprinting, all of that. And a lot of times, the sad part is you work with somebody and you do a contract and you get them into a venue and then, they don't see the value of it and they'll go behind your back and they'll try to go in another way without having to go through an agent, not realizing I'm really here to protect both sides of it.
Yeah,
It's like a triangle. If vision a triangle at the very top, okay? The peak of the triangle, you've got the venue. And at the left corner, you have the agent. At the right corner, you have the artist. We should form together a perfect triangle.
yeah. You know, it.
Maybe that's a wrong
No,
analogy, but I
no,
would think,
that's a great one. And the other part that you guys protect are their like the copyright laws and stuff for the
yeah.
bands with the who own some of the music or whoever that they've recorded with. You have ASCAP and BMI, and you have the
Yeah.
writers and the contracts working out copyright and who can
Yep.
play what at what venues and stuff. That's like a whole
Yeah.
another thing.
And also the venues get upset because they still have to pay the BMI and ASCAP. We call them the music police.
Yep.
I mean, listen, I've worked with the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association. I sat on the board for years with the FRLA, and it used to be FRA, Florida Restaurant Association, until they involved the Lodging Association. And trust me, it was just as important for me to sit on the board. I was secretary for years on different chapters and stuff. But even working with them with the BMI and ASCAP, I would go into business establishments knowing that they have to pay the licensing fees, and yet I would still negotiate with BMI and ASCAP to reduce their cost of doing business for their application fees and association fees to the BMI and ASCAP that they would pay. Yes, you're going to pay it, but how much are you going to pay? So I would actually go in and try to negotiate those rates down so that it could be affordable. Yet BMI and ASCAP are still getting their money versus not getting their money.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand how that part of the end of the business works. Like even on
Right.
YouTube, there's a lot of people using copyrighted material, and
Right.
they don't understand copyright protects more than music. It protects a lot of other different areas in the world. You know, like sculptures and movies, and
Uh-huh.
and to change that would be massive. But that's also why you have like the police, like you said, ASCAP and BMI.
BMI.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's just a couple of them here that, the venue has to pay for having the entertainment in there. They got to pay those licensing fees. And it's fair to pay them,
yeah,
but, because the artists deserve to be paid as well that have written those songs or,
yeah.
I'm,
It's
you know,
crazy.
it's crazy.
There's so much that goes into what you do. A lot of people don't understand, you know. And like Alex is an amazing person too from Quiet Riot, because he
Yeah.
not only is he with Quiet Riot and doing other things, but he's also a booking agent.
Booking agent, like I said, he's a booking agent, and so from booking agent to booking agent, getting to talk with him, and he's booking other artists, not just his band. So that's kind of unique to the story there too.
Yeah,
We actually have been trying to have this one artist here this year, but we're gonna have to move it to next year, which is fine. Because of Oktoberfest coming, it was just conflicts with scheduling and stuff like that. And some of the venues, whether we just bring the artist in as a solo act, or if we're bringing the whole band. And part of the Florida tour is three-quarters of them wanted the full band, but didn't have the budget because of Oktoberfest coming. Oktoberfest is all as well.
yeah.
So then they said, well, how about Alex and I said, well, how about we do solos? And the venue's like, no, we want the full bands. We're going to wait till next year. So, but I'm like, but if it's not in the budget, why not do this? You at least get something to something better than nothing of nothing. And they're like, nope, we want the whole enchilada. And I respect that. So yeah, you put it in next year's budget if it's not into this year's budget, not knowing what the economy is going to be like next year. But and another thing I tell venue owners, and I don't sound morbid here or anything, is if there's an artist that you really feel like belongs in your venue, grab them. You're never promised tomorrow.
Yeah,
None of us are promised tomorrow.
yeah. That's a great point too. I never thought of that. I mean,
That's
after all
been
these,
that's been something I've been telling people on recently because it hits home to me. It hits home to me very big and deep, more and more. And again, since COVID, as I was sharing with you about, I had my dad and three uncles. It was the anniversary of them passing this week, and putting them to rest. But three of my family members gone, and within 10 days. And it was crazy.
yeah,
But look at all the artists that are passing away, the actors and the actresses, and let's just not discount that. We are also growing up in age. I keep telling my kids who are in their 30s and I know, right? And my 29-year-old and my 40-year-old daughter. Yes, I am that old. No, I didn't have any kids in high school, but I keep saying to myself is, I want to be 30 again. I want to go back in age when I felt like things were a lot simpler than what they are now. Maybe they weren't, but it appeared to be that way at that
I
time.
think people were a lot more nicer, more humane.
Correct. Humane. I think
Like
people were more.
I think everything has become. I think it's just snowballed from ego into egos and feelings as opposed to fact and being humane to others and caring.
Well, when you say that, there's a musician that's probably the most humble musician I've ever met in my entire life. And I mean this sincerely. And I don't think he's given enough credit where credit is due. I don't know. And now, of course, you may get off the track from rock and roll a little bit, but I don't know if you have ever heard of the musician Yanni.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, Yanni, yes, we all come from Minnesota. Yes, I know Yanni. We all hung out together and did many shows together. But back in the days, and they played in my uncle's nightclubs and stuff. So yeah, there's stories there. I won't go there. But his drummer, Charlie Adams. Google Charlie Adams revolving drum kit on YouTube. You will know the true story behind the revolving drum kit did not come from Tommy Lee.
Wow.
Charlie Adams is the most humble drummer you'll ever meet. Drummed with Yanni for over 40 years. He was in the band Chameleon back in the days that were on the Miller High Life tour out of Minneapolis. What's
Yeah,
that?
Chameleon.
Chameleon, yes.
I remember that band.
Do you remember Chameleon? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, we've had many great days with Chameleon and then the snowstorms and stuff like that. They've had some of their music on back in the days on MTV. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So, but Charlie Adams, his drummer, has four children, and I'm going to tell you the reason why I do my Rockin' for Autism Awareness benefit every year. And Spread Eagle has been my headline band. George Lynch has signed the guitars. Rick Springfield signed the guitars that go into silent auctions. Many other artists. Matter of fact, Stet has. Chip from Enough's Enough. God, I can name so many musicians. George Lynch, Nico McBrain, many of them. Anyway, Charlie Adams is the reason why I do Rockin' for Autism Awareness, because he has two children that are on the spectrum of autism and two that are perfectly fine. And again, he had three revolving drum kits, and it started off back in the days. One was a wooden Plex drum kit, and it had a bicycle chain that revolved 3 ways forward, 3 ways backwards. And by the way, he had Tom Bird help build that. Tom and Steve build his revolving drum kit. The second one came out on a plexiglass and would revolve again, and he'd go upside down and play in the band Chameleon, by the way. This was all in Chameleon with Yanni involved in there, and Duke McNeil, who's in the band The Hype out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they're getting a plug from me. Freebies, there you have it. They're gonna have to pay me royalties one day, maybe not. And anyway, and then the third one was the Nutty Buddy one, and it was a hydraulic lift one. I think that one thing weighed about 8,000 pounds. Yeah. Anyway, that would roll out, and there's some live coverage of it called Charlie Adams Revolving Drum Kit on YouTube. Watch that thing spin. And Tommy Lee happened to be in downtown Minneapolis when it was a big concert, Miller High Life concert venue, when all this was going on, and was talking to Charlie, and that's kind of where it all evolved from, him wanting to.
That's funny.
Yeah, so Charlie doesn't get enough credit. And by the way, in May of this year, Charlie was displaced from his home on the 3 a.m. the morning of his birthday. I called to wish him a happy birthday. He didn't take my call. I thought, something's wrong. Is he upset with me? Because he's never, he always takes my call. Always lets me wish him a happy birthday, and lets me sing to him in the Marilyn Monroe version that I get to sing to him in. And I thought, well, that's strange. He didn't take my call and never called me back all day. And I kept thinking, this is really weird. He's not, responding on Facebook, nothing. Well, unfortunately, at 3 o'clock in the morning that morning, his house caught fire. His autistic son plugged something into an electrical outlet, and it sparked and caught onto the bed and burned down his home.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So April 27th of this year, I did another Rockin' for Autism Awareness benefit. I had 10 bands performing, and Spread Eagle was the headliner, obviously, as I mentioned. And we had the silent auction guitar, another one that was signed also by George Lynch. And we did a raffle, and the gentleman that won the guitar was also one that bought those 2 VIP passes for the other guy and his wife, believe it or not. So it's talk about paying it forward, what a fan will do to help other fans meet their dreams.
Let me know. I'll have my band Hair Days if you want to do that.
I would love that. Everybody donates their time to the cause, and it's to raise awareness. And by the way, just so you know, the proceeds stay here in the state of Florida to the students to raise scholarships for autistic students to go to school.
Yeah, I just get asked to do career day too. At my son's 10, but the principal called me and said, we found out who you were. Can you come in and do career day?
Well, yes, I can. Of course I can. Here's my life and date and my career.
I'm like, how did you
These
find
are my hair days.
So I was oh my, yeah, my old hair days.
I love that.
That's funny.
I love that.
So I ended up talking to the principal for like a half hour. She's like, yeah, we found out the band's expose and this band and this. I guess Tristan, because I bring him to some of the shows, like he met Terry.
And so I met Terry, yeah. Terry's a great guy to work with. He's funny. I enjoyed working with him on some shows that we've done, and I'm going to work on probably some Latin stuff with him.
Yeah.
For 2026, we're working on some Latin stuff that he's got going on. And of course, you see, I work with all different types of music. Here's the one thing that I want to say about me. I don't want to be like every other agent. I don't want to be that person. And I also don't want to discriminate.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I don't want to discriminate anyone. I don't care what gender you are. Even if I don't have a fit for you, maybe somebody I can refer you to somebody that does. If I don't have the right fit, meaning I don't have the right venue or the right festival or whatever,
Yeah.
but I won't discriminate.
Well, that's like I said. I was talking to Jaco Pastoris' son, David. He's a friend. I gave him your number. Did he ever call you?
I don't think I heard from him, so but that's okay.
Because he was looking for gigs when he was back here in town with it, and he's more up your way. And he asked me for gigs, and I said, "Well, I know somebody up your way that's a booking agent. Maybe give her a call."
Thank
So
you. I would love to have more venues, obviously, and more patrons come out to support the venues. That's the key thing. And here's the problem right now is people are afraid of getting DUIs. They can't afford them. So they're drinking less. They're spending less money. The cost of living is going up. They're bringing their kids back home to live with them because they can't afford for the housing sometimes. And I'm seeing it. I'm hearing it all the time. Or the food costs are going up. Those things are affecting businesses. It's affecting the musicians.
yeah, we have two big places here. One is Revolution,
Yep, the Revolution Live. Yep,
and what's the other one? East Culture Room.
the Culture Room. Yep.
Yeah, so we have like two decent sized venues for
Yeah.
like the bigger bands, but
Right.
you know, uh, but again,
And that's hard to get in there too for some of these musicians that have been on waiting lists forever, or they'll get bumped because of politics reasons. Sometimes it's true, and we've seen it. And I'm not gonna. I just call people out.
that's what I do.
Feel free to call me out. I'll call other people out too. So, that is a problem. We don't have enough of the venues anymore.
Yeah.
And what also people don't realize is, I've talked about this with someone else. What is the value of a band? What is the value of a venue? What is the value of an agent? What is the value of a promoter?
You want to hear something crazy? So
Right.
I was talking to Taylor Swift's management company, and
Uh-huh.
I was trying to get numbers, just to figure out numbers on the $1 billion tour that they did.
Right.
And they were telling me when they came here and they played the Hard Rock, they paid $2 to $3 million to rent the Hard Rock, and I go, but if I rent the Hard Rock, it's like 600 grand. So they upcharge people like her just because she can fill it.
Fill it.
Yeah.
Right.
And people don't understand why tickets go so high is because some of the people get a little greedy. Oh, it's Taylor Swift, we'll sell it out, so let's charge her extra.
And then that causes the rates of the tickets to go up, which
Yeah.
is sad.
Yeah, and people don't realize that whole game part too. And there's so much. I mean, we probably could literally have a 10-hour conversation about all the stuff that's wrong in business.
Well, again, and the thing is a lot of musicians say, well, I don't need a booking agent. I don't need to have one. I've done fine on my own without it. But there's probably one or two venues you've never gotten into. And if I get you into that one or two venue, why wouldn't you stay loyal to me? If I'm spending my quality time busting my butt, and no pun intended there, but I mean,
Yeah.
or whatever I'm doing and taking my valuable time where I'm not generating revenue from doing something else, but I'm getting you in the door. Why would you backdoor me and go back to that venue without bringing me in and saying, hey, I appreciate you brought me in. I'd like to go back there again, or if I say I bring it back in or whatever. But here's the thing is the loyalties just aren't there, and it's sad. It's sad because I could have taken a different band that is more loyal than you.
Yeah.
And
I tell people all the time that loyalty and trust is the number one thing in this business.
Whether you have it in writing or you believe it in your heart, in your soul.
Yep. That's
because
why, like,
some people,
even me, like, I know a lot of people, and I probably could do a lot of it on my own, but I rather have you do it because I trust you and I know you, and we've had a lot of conversations, and I know how hard it is if I do it on my own. And it's
hard.
Yeah. And I don't want to be the guy wearing all the hats. So, like, it's hard enough to get, like a huge singer for this thing, and then figure out who you're going to rotate in and out of the band. I rather worry about the band and have you worry about all the other stuff, because I trust you and you're going to do the right thing for us,
Well, and the other thing is I'm like, okay, so let's just say hypothetically, I'm only making 10% of that, and you're getting $1,000, and I'm getting 10% of that only. Okay, how many phone calls have I had to make to negotiate the terms of that, happening? How many times have I had to track down the owner to get them to have a conversation or face to face? Sometimes I've had to go drive to the venue 3, 4 times. That's my gas, my time. That's just as valuable. And again, I'm promoting you. You're not
Yeah.
even promoting yourself. I'm the one promoting you. And I'm like, where do you not see the value in that? That I take your stuff and bring it to them, and not you're not bringing it to them. I am.
Yeah. A lot
Now
of
that you got the foot in the door, it's like, wow, you don't need me anymore. But wait a minute. Just remember, when you start doing stuff like that, any other future opportunities with other venues that pop up, you may not have with that agent.
yeah. And that's why I promote, like, on my channel, like, in the industry, I'm like, you have to have a package. You submit it to a management company that deals with these people, that has a booking agent like you, and has a management company where they can get you in, like, legitimate people. Don't just hire anybody. Do your research on the people. Like, I could recommend you, like, I know you, so, like, I know who you book. I know, so, like, we've had conversations, so I know what you do, and I trust you, so I can recommend when somebody calls me up, like, say, you know, like
Like Robert
Robert.
Sarzo.
Yeah, Robert Sarzo. He's a great guy, and so, like, I get you in contact with him, so he knows everything is going. So if I don't, if I tell you something, you can relay it back if I forget to call him, so he's in the loop. It's very important to have great management, a great agent, great booking agents, great tour manager. I mean, you need those people to succeed in what you're doing in this industry, and people, that's why a lot of people fail, because they don't think they need that, and it's
No.
such a mistake.
Well, they devalue it, and I don't want to devalue you as a musician. So please don't devalue what I do, because again, here's another thing: is a lot of people think that a booking agent is also the promoter. Not in all cases is that the case. Sometimes, and they think that you are responsible for doing all their marketing. That is not always the case either. So it's one of those things that the misconceptions, and where's what is agreed upon, what is not agreed upon, what's assumed, what's not assumed.
Yeah, and
Just
those
like
those contracts have to be written. Like, if you're gonna
yeah,
go into
and it
every
takes time.
city,
Yeah.
and you're gonna do radio ads, you got to come up with $500 for 20-second ad or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to figure that into every city on every stop, and work it into the budget, and it's got to come out of the band money, you
Yeah,
know.
and they don't think so.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. And it's like, okay, I guess I don't know where people's thoughts and process are, and I don't discount it, because again, I'm here to promote musicians all day long, even original artists. I promote original music as much as any other type of music. I love the 80s. I love the 90s. I love all styles of music. I even love some country, believe it or not. I love the Keith Urban, the newer country. I love the old Johnny Cash. I walk the line, by the way.
I
And I
saw
fell into a burning ring of fire.
I saw the singer from Shovelhead has a new band.
Yeah, Eat Crow. I had them last night. They were
They're
amazing.
good.
Matter of fact,
Yeah.
yeah, they were amazing. Okay, so I love that. That he's sang unbelievably. Okay, so I'll just tell you about this.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah, he sounds just like the Black Crowes. Let me tell you, they did an amazing job. So I had them last night. Matter of fact, I was on phone today with venues. When you actually called me earlier today, I told you I was on a call, and that was about trying to get them booked at another venue in the future for 2026 for that band today. Believe it or not, that was kind of
Nice.
crazy. You brought that up. Yeah.
I went to his wedding
Oh, you were just to Ward's
over in
wedding?
Sebastian. Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, his wife was with us last night too.
Yeah.
So ironically, when you called earlier today about doing this, that's who I was on a conference call with, is a venue to book them for 2026. And I was back and forth on the phone with Warren again today. And by the way, this Thursday, if no one has anything to do, and if you're airing this in time, come to the barn in Sanford. Doors open at 5:00. We have 4 bands. We have the Crown coming in from Texas. We also have Black Heart Society, original artist music. The band Gray is supporting them. I've had Gray open up for Kurt Dimer, who's out on tour with Tesla, Buck Cherry, and Tesla. A bunch of those. And he's also in the movie Halloween. He just filmed 3 new movies in Hillbilly Boy, I think it was, or whatever, something like that. But he's in the Halloween 2018 with Jamie Lee Curtis, but Kurt Dimer, another original artist that's amazing, taken off. And I like the song Heroes, by the way. It's a really good song.
Yeah.
Here I'm plugging all these people, right?
No, it's good.
You
It's
know,
good.
but I just have to tell you, so Gray is going to be opening up, and they're going to be direct support for the female rock band, the Plush. Plush, actually, it's not the Plush.
And
it's Plush.
isn't that Jim Cream's daughter's band or
Yeah.
from Sabbath Nights or something?
So, yeah, they will be at the barn in Sanford this Thursday night, September 11th. So, you know, September 11th should be significant for a lot of us. So here's the thing is we need to celebrate music and being here for those that are here today. So you know, everybody says, well, why did you book a band on 9/11? You know, it's a Thursday night. Well, you know what? Because we all need to show that we continue to go on and still honor others.
Yeah, that's a weird thing because I never thought that I would play live again. That's crazy, right?
After that, isn't that crazy? So, you know, ironically that I picked 9/11 to have that band, those bands there on that date, just because I remember that I was not at the barn in Sanford that day, but I was actually up in Sanford. And it was just kind of how the pieces fell together when I heard the news. So it's kind of ironic that I have them booked on that date as an anniversary date of those that so many were lost lives for, you know, careless reasons and for reasons that will never make sense to me, obviously.
I got a funny story for you, too.
I think fun.
So the singer from Shovelhead.
Warren, yeah.
Yeah, Warren. Patrick plays drums sometimes in Shovelhead. I don't know if he still does, but when I was at the wedding, my buddy Russ Maxwell, he played 16 years in Molly Hatchet. He lives in that area, and I called him up. I'm like, hey, you want to come see Shovelhead? And he goes, Shovelhead, the band? I go, yeah. So I come back here because he couldn't make it, and then I called Kenny Reiner Earl too because he's Palm Bay area. He's a great friend, and I said he couldn't make it either, and so I come back home, and like 2 months later, I see Russ's name on Shovelhead. I called him up. I go, "You're playing guitar for Shovelhead?" He goes,
"Oh my!"
Yeah. So I was like, "What happened?"
Oh my gosh!
So
that's amazing. You know, it is a small world in the music world community. I mean, it's crazy small world.
As big as it is, yeah, it's small.
As big as it is, you know, I come from Minnesota back in the days. I know, Minnesota, totally different time.
You probably know as many people, if not more than me. I mean, you're friends with Jonathan Cain from Journey and all kinds of people.
Yeah. Some really good people. Well, you know, when I was neighbors with Prince, I used to go bowling with him at the Phillies nightclub in Chanhassen, Minnesota, right across from the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. We'd shut down Phillies nightclub. We'd go bowling, and there was live music there. Yeah.
I'll tell you I can't say it on the air, but I have a private story with Prince when I hung out with him at Paisley Park.
I lived right by Paisley Park Studios, so yeah, it was right there. I was there several times. So
he's such a nice guy, but he was
very eccentric.
Oh my
he's
God!
Very eccentric.
He changed like every 5 minutes. I go, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Changing." I go, "Why? We're the only ones here mixing down tracks." And he had to answer for everything. And sometimes he didn't have an answer. He would just stare at you.
Well, he would stare a lot. We'd go over to Grand Slams too, and he'd be upstairs, and he would overlook, and he would just pick people up to come back to Paisley Park.
Yeah.
He'd pick up certain people that this one that goes, but yeah.
He was such a genius. Like I watched him mix
stuff. Look at every instrument that man could play.
And watching him engineer a board, there's only two people that I had no idea were like master engineers: Eddie Van Halen and Prince. And I was like, holy crap. They blew my mind watching him. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm taking the bass out. I'm like, what? Out of a dance track? He goes, yeah, watch this. And like, he would do stuff that like I would never, ever expect.
You would never expect certain things with that guy. You know, and he loved, let me tell you, he loved sports. He loved playing basketball. And he built
table tennis, ping pong.
Yeah, and he built a miniature golf putt-putt golf place out there by County Road 17. And, so right outside of Chanhassen. And
did you ever get to go
out there in the snow and go miniature putt-putt golfing in the snow?
Did you ever go in his garage?
Oh my God, you don't even want to know. You
Holy
don't know.
shit! I
Yeah,
won't talk
you don't even
about
want to
that
know.
because a lot of
Yeah,
people probably don't know.
they don't know, but they don't probably don't even realize that after being at Philly's nightclub, which was right down from Paisley Park Studios, that's when after that he put that bowling alley in there. And by the way, just so you know, a lot of the musicians that worked with Yanni also worked with Prince and some of the road crew guys and drum tech guys and all the guitar tech guys. They all worked both with Yanni and Prince. A lot of the same people did, believe it or not.
Well, yeah,
Brad Marsh was one of his drum techs, and who also worked with Phil Collins. Brad Marsh from up in
yeah.
Minneapolis area. So yeah, some
It's crazy.
wonderful people.
Yeah, yeah. That's like the same like George Lynch's tech.
Yeah,
He's the tech for Nuno from
yeah,
Extreme.
isn't that crazy?
Like a
Yeah,
lot of people don't realize that these guys got
no,
like 3 or 4 different jobs.
right. Well, and it's funny is I'll share this story. We'll speak of Ray Ray. Ray Ray's been my home from Spread Eagle, and so the other band members, and I love their wives. They trust me, and I trust their husbands aren't going to try anything with me either. Because, it goes both ways. Let me tell you something. It goes both ways. It doesn't just go one way. I have to be able to trust them that they're not going to try anything either.
They'll have to change your name to Karen Taser.
They do. And funny, I do have tasers. That's funny you say that.
That's funny.
But I would too. I would. Oh, I could tell a story. Yeah, no doesn't mean yes spelled backwards. You got it? And that was a famous musician that I said that to. No does not mean spelled yes backwards. Do you understand? And then, this is so funny. Don't laugh at me, okay? But this is what I said to a musician one time. He's a well-known musician and tried to make a move. And I'm like, listen, dude. Is there a brown paper bag around here? And he goes, why? I go, I need a brown paper bag. He goes, why? I go, I need a brown paper bag. What for? I said, trust me, you'll get it in a minute. Is there a brown paper bag? No, why? All right, I guess I got to tell you. If there's no brown paper bag, I need one. I don't care where's the nearest grocery store. Are you serious, Lazer? Yeah, I'm serious. Why? Well, because I'd have to brown paper bag you, because if we did something, it'd be like incest. I said, it'd be like being my brother. He goes, oh my God, did you just say that? Yes, I did. That was the end of that story.
That's funny. Yeah.
And to this day, we still laugh about it. We're friends. He goes, I respect you for being that way. He goes, and we're still friends. We've never been intimate, none of that. And he said, you sure put me in my place that night.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I just looked at the counter. We've been talking on the camera for an hour.
I'm not on camera, am I?
No. I put the phone up to the mic because I used to do the FaceTime stuff, but it goes in and out, and I get
it does, and then you look terrible, and yeah. And then you see all the zits on people, and you don't want to see them. And if it's a girl with fake eyelashes, her eyelash one's up, one's down. I don't know.
And what I'll do, I'll give you the link to the video, so once I post it, you can see it. Because a lot of people look at me and they're like, when I go out, like I'm like totally different. The hair's down, I shave the gray beard off. So.
Well, I know you guys, your band is amazing. By the way, Dolly loves your band, Hair Days. Oh, my God, she loves you guys.
Yeah.
Dolly Shallow,
Yeah.
Hey, and by the way, if you have anybody that wants to donate, any businesses, we're doing the Battle of the Babes. It's for breast cancer awareness, October 12th. It's going to be in Daytona Beach. If anybody is interested in providing a gift basket or a gift basket of their music, and their T-shirts and stuff, hey, we'd love to have it for raffle items and stuff like that to raise money for breast cancer awareness, even for musicians, the female musicians and men musicians as well.
I'll have to dig through some old stuff. I'll have to see if I have some old expose.
I love that.
Old expose stuff.
That'd be great. So anything, that can help raise awareness and raise money. Vintage. Hey, I'm vintage. It's okay. It's funny. My kids all say, well, you used to be the Nordic track woman. How come you don't look like her anymore? I said, because I've earned every wrinkle and gray hair from every musician and my kids. That's how.
Oh, my God. That's too funny.
And then you owners that don't want to pay up. I said, what do you expect? No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's true. It was funny because, speaking of that, with Prince and Nerdy Track back in the days, Yeah, he used to tease me about that too.
When's Ray coming?
Ray will
In
be in
Stats?
back. Well, they're in
October?
UK right now. Next month, October 16th, they're going to be at Stets. Unless we have to move it to the 17th, they're going to be 18th in Lakeland, Florida, at La La Land. And if you're in North Florida by Destin and Fort Walton, they are going to be up in Fort Walton. With Spread Eagle be there with Trickster, Enough's Enough, Pretty Boy Floyd, Perma Crush, just to name a few.
Maybe I can sign a guitar and give you a guitar.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yes, I'm helping with this because, again, every year I do the autism benefit, and one of the band members, one of the bands that performed for my benefit asked me if I would help her this year with Battle of the Babes, and I said, you know what? Yes, absolutely. I believe in supporting that because there is definitely a need and awareness in a lot of
Maybe I can send it around. I get Patrick and the Beast and like my
uh,
friends. Maybe I can have them all sign it too.
that would be so sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll
I
see,
appreciate that.
I'll
That's so
yeah,
sweet.
I'll see if I can hurry up and get on that and have everyone sign it, and then if
Yeah.
I go over to Stats, you know, um,
And then we could all be there, and I'll sign merchandise for you and give to you so you can raffle it off and make no money.
we'll give it away on the channel.
Right. Right.
But
Stay
yeah,
laser focused.
but yeah, that would be cool, and then I could bring it over for you. That way you'll have it.
Oh, that would be so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, no, that we'd have to do before then because the benefit is October 12th. So I might have to make a road trip to South Florida just to pick it up. How's
oh,
that?
there you go. Yeah, we'll do lunch
Yeah.
or something.
Or maybe we go meet up with Warren halfway, and we go meet up with Warren and do lunch with Warren.
Oh, maybe that'd be kind of cool.
We could eat crow.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where he lives. I know he's near the Palm Bay, Sebastian area. Like,
Yeah, on the Bureau Beach area. Yeah.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
mean, yeah. So it'd be great to, you know, yeah. I love doing stuff like that. I'm very spontaneous with stuff like that, even though I'm very methodical and I have things planned out. Like every day this week, I have shows coming up every single day this week again. I don't think I have a day off coming for a few months yet.
yeah. It's hard. It was hard to get like because we had talked about this probably like a month ago,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And so, but it's hard. Everyone's busy. You know.
It was just one of those things that I said I'm going to block away some time tonight to make it happen. In memory of my dad too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the thing: is like when we were talking about different genres. Tomorrow night I'm in board meetings, but Wednesday I have a couple bands from. I actually have one band from South Florida's original artist, Ambush, is coming up from South Florida there, from the Boca area, and doing original music in Central Florida, in Orlando, in Maitland, actually, at the Good Times, along with Mind of Fury. Gia's played down there before, too, with Mind of Fury in South Florida. So they will be playing Wednesday night. Thursday night, as I mentioned, Plush is going to be at the barn, headlining there.
They're awesome.
Friday night. Yeah, and then Friday night I have a Led Zeppelin tribute band in Orlando. And Saturday of something, Sunday I have the Metallica and Godsmack tribute bands. So I work with tribute bands, original artists, cover bands, solos, duos, trios. I mean, national recording acts, doesn't matter.
And it's all over Florida, from probably the Keys all the way up to Jacksonville.
Anywhere. No, I'll do anywhere in the United States. So I've got some stuff that I'm sending even out of state, like up in New Hampshire. Like we had Kurt Dimer going up there, and a few other musicians. And
Is that
Kurt Dimer, like if anybody has never heard him, go check him out. Because his music is unique, and he sings and he writes from his heart, and he's an original artist, like I mentioned. Well, aren't we all originals at some point in time in our
Now,
lives?
when you do the out of Florida gigs and stuff, do you work with other agencies in that area, or do you go?
Sometimes I work with the venues directly, or sometimes with other agents. But it's funny because some agents don't want to work with other agents, and I'm one of these. Like, hey, I'll work with you because if it makes good sense, some oatmeal is better than no oatmeal, and sometimes we're stronger together in numbers. And then you have some that say, "Oh gosh, no, I won't work with an agent."
Yeah,
and I'm
because like Sullivan's a funny guy.
right,
He
yeah,
like
I know Sullivan.
yeah, he's like he don't want nothing to do with like tribute bands and stuff like that. But Alex will do it like on his own kind of, but through
Right.
the agency, where it's great networking, like how, so
Mm.
like because I know you have your license and bonding through Florida and stuff, and then
Yeah.
I don't even know like booking agents like national like that, like if how they bond and stuff. I That part I don't know.
And here's the thing: is a lot of people think that they can just book a band and do what they want. And just book all different bands all over. In the state of Florida, you must be required to be licensed and bonded to book a band unless it's one you manage or it's your own band.
Yes.
Um, or unless you're a venue owner. And again, the venue owners, sometimes the venue owners can get themselves in trouble by
Yeah.
doing stuff without even having a contract. So
Yeah.
actually, venue owners are better off to work through an agent.
Yeah, especially if it's like if I booked my band, the problem is if we have an opener, I can't book a band.
Right,
So I can get
exactly.
in trouble or the club can get in trouble. So
Right, exactly.
yeah, that's why like on the Legends thing for us, it's better to have you do it because then you can take care of everything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It,
Absolutely. And a lot of venue owners don't even realize that either. They're like, okay, find your opening band, but they don't realize that, wait a minute, they can't just do that. There's liability factors involved there again, and it's not with the Florida statutes. By the
yeah, and
way.
then you get the workman's comp exempt and like
Yep.
there's all kinds of stuff that goes into it. That's like another conversation.
That's another cover story, let me tell you. Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, and then a lot of venues will hire somebody to do their bookings, and they're not even licensed to do the bookings.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's
And I,
same with advertising in the advertising
yeah,
market. You
yeah,
know, if like you have like I can't just go on a radio station and advertise. I have to have them do it, or I have to
like,
pay somebody to do the actual commercial. You know what I mean?
correct.
It's not like you can just go on and pay them money and then advertise it the way you want. It's got to be done through the networks. A lot of people. It's always it's always controlled somehow. It has to be.
Always it is.
It has to be because without it, would be total chaos. Could you imagine if we didn't have booking agents, how chaotic the shows would be?
It is chaotic, even as is the way it is right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. Anyway, I don't want to keep you all night, but it was
Thank you.
great
It's been
talking
a
to you. I
pleasure.
enjoyed this, yeah, because
Well,
it's a lot of information for like I try to talk about the industry and I know certain sides of it very well, but at the same time, it's better to hear it from like a licensed booking agent that's bonded and what it is, and it's great to hear. So, because I don't see people on YouTube and stuff. Let's get a booking agent on so that they can hear the ins and outs and what's best for them.
right. And I'm going to tell you something. Even as a booking agent, it's a hit and miss sometimes with venues, days of the week, what's going on, and, outside of that, if there's another show going on down the road that,
Oh, you just nailed that on the head too. Yeah.
that's another thing that we have to deal with. And now with football season starting, and if you have shows on Sundays, you're competing against with football. If you got football fans that would normally come out and hear your music on top of that. So there's a lot of things that go into place that nobody even thinks about that we deal with.
Yeah, it's like having Def Leppard play at the Hard Rock over
Mm-hmm.
here, and then in West Palm, you got like I don't know, Kiss or Motley Crue. I
Yep.
mean it. You're fighting the crowds. You're splitting them,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
then it affects the ticket sales and the band's overall. I mean, there's so much that goes into it.
Absolutely, especially with, like, for example, when you have two really good tribute bands playing 10 minutes apart from each other, and it's the same day and the same time. It's hard.
Yeah,
It's
because
really hard.
you split the crowd. Yeah,
You split the crowd, and it's so unfair, and you got to pick and choose something or nothing. But at the same time, it's like, and then it's disappointing to the fans not to see everybody there. It's disappointing to the band members. But I always say, I don't care if there's one person in the room or 100 people in the room. If one person paid, we play.
yeah,
We do. We go in and we give them what they paid for.
100%. Yep. Because you don't
You know,
you never know who that one person that paid is.
right? You just took the words out of my mouth. Because believe it or not, talent scouts go out there and they'll pay to go in to see a show, and it could be a talent scout that you never know was the talent scout out there.
Yeah.
And they don't always look like they're all dressed up as a talent scout,
Yeah.
and it can happen. I mean, I've seen that happen before.
I was playing in a local cover band, and Clarence Clemens and his wife were friends of mine, and Bruce Springsteen was playing in town, and it was just like a small local club, and it usually got busy really late, like when all the other clubs, you know, but it was like um probably like after his show, but around midnight, and um, he Bruce Springsteen walked in and he had his glasses on, and he came in where the door was, and he stood there for a second. He didn't say anything. He was with Clarence, and he just waved, and then he stayed for one song and walked out. And the singer was a sharpshooter for BSO, and but he's all tatted up, so a lot of people didn't know. And he walks over to me, he goes, "Was that Bruce Springsteen?" I go, "Yes, it was."
Isn't that amazing? So yeah, you just never know who's going to be in your audience or who's going to show up. It was kind of funny. One of the musicians I book, and he's in a band, and he does acoustic and duels as well. We were going over its schedules, and he says, "Oh my God, I am so embarrassed." I go, "What?" He goes, "I was out in such and such town. This just happened recently, by the way, and I knew I was supposed to be at that venue anyway." He goes, "Yeah, I was sitting there," and he goes, "I was across from where I had to be," and he was going to do his duo set, and he was grabbing a bite to eat, and he's sitting there talking to somebody, and we're talking about the quaint town that this is in and stuff. And he's sitting there talking to the guy, and he says, it was funny because he said something about, "Oh yeah, there's a show going on tonight." He goes, "Oh yeah, I heard about it." He goes, "I guess it's such and such band." Believe it or not, he didn't even realize he's sitting there talking to Lou Graham the whole time.
Yeah, that's funny. Wow. Hey, let
He
me
didn't realize he was talking to Lou Graham.
yeah,
And this just happened
I'm gonna
not even 2
I'm
months
gonna
ago.
turn this off just so it doesn't do like a low power
Yeah.
mode or like storage, because
Yeah,
I know the
go for it.
iCloud, but um so everybody, that's Karen Lazer. You can look her up through like the booking agencies. Peace out.